What's up, BookTube? Today I'm going to be doing a mid-year top 5 ranking of the best books that I've read so far in 2026. This one was actually really hard to come up with because I've read a lot of good books. I've read even a lot at the beginning of the year, a lot of 5-star reads. So it was kind of hard to kind of mix and mingle exactly which books have really stuck with me. Even if some of them I've rated a little bit lower, when I think about it in my mind's eye, I just kind of think these are the books that have stuck with me the most and I cherish them the most. Now, I will probably be doing either at the end of the year or maybe a little bit later, maybe next month, be doing all the books that I've read so far this year overall, because I've read 27. And I might just rank them from S tier all the way down, the full 27 books. But today I'm just going to be doing the top 5 books of 2026 that I've personally read. And I'm going to start off by going over probably my favorite series of all time, and that is the Bloodsworn trilogy by John Gwynne. What can you say? Like, if you've read any John Gwynne books, you know, it's almost a consensus, almost like Robin Hobb, that you're going in for a fun experience. You're going to enjoy your time there. Now, the only thing I can think about is you might not enjoy it if you're not really into Viking lore a little bit, because there's some things, like if you don't like Thought Cage and kind of, the mumble jumble of how Vikings sound for some reason in writing, you might not enjoy this book. But as for me, the second book of this trilogy, Hunger of the Gods, was epic. Epic in so many ways. The first book ended in just shocking fashion. I remember, like, that book, it took me a little bit to kind of get used to the characters and all the different names. But then when I got to, like, the last 100 pages of that first book, it just blew me away. And second book, from the get-go, was just all over it. Like, everything was right. Amazing characters, added POVs that actually worked, which kind of scared me at first, because I thought, oh man, these added POVs are not going to work. They actually turned out to be some of my favorite POVs in all of this trilogy. Which is rare in a lot of ways, because usually when authors add more POVs, you're kind of like, oh well, did we really need this? But I kind of felt like they were all very well balanced and added to the story overall. Now, I had problems with the third book, but as far as this second book is concerned, I just think it's an absolute masterpiece. I love everything about it. I think this book represents every great thing that John Gwynne can bring to the table when it comes to his writing style. And it's just his overall outlook and just consistency and grasp of knowledge that he has over, like, Viking tradition and lore and really the mythology of this world. It was really, what I would just say, nothing short of a masterclass from John Gwynne when it comes to this book, about having a full grasp over characters, lore, just the world in general. It was just brilliant. Could not have been better. Absolutely loved it. Now I'm going to go back to my old reliable. Now, this is the first book that is going to be my second book of this. It was another 5-star read, just like The Hunger of the Gods was. And this was my first Bernard Cornwell book, and I didn't know what to think of this book at first. I went into it with expectations of, like, okay, maybe this is going to be a slow read. It's kind of based off, like, sort of historical, but then not really historical all at the same time. It deals with Camelot and, King Arthur and things along those lines, or at least what we imagine as those, and it kind of tries to give, like, a real picture of what they actually were, and it worked. It worked. You think you're going to go into this story, and the main character is going to be Arthur. No, it's this guy that no one's even heard about, that really is kind of a loser at first. Like, the girl he loves doesn't really like him, or likes him, but, she's she's got higher aspirations of things. Tries to get with another one. It doesn't really work. There's a lot of little things that kind of go on. He wants to be a warrior, but he's not really that great at first. Gets himself into some trouble. Ends up really kind of moving through the ranks in a strange way, just to sheer bravery is what it really come down to. And then, of course, he gets skill after that. But you see a character progression that is rare in stories now. Like, this is kind of an older book, and you can kind of tell because it's a grasp of it. Like what I said about John Gwynne, few writers have that. And I feel like few modern writers in the last 10 years really have a grasp of their world. But Bernard Cornwell actually does an amazing job of this. Like, he brings this Arthurian legend to life, basically, and gives it a whole new perspective that no one has ever seen before, or no one has ever written about before. And he's made it where it's taken away the shine of it, but then also made it the realism, page turning in a lot of ways. The way that he does battle scenes is like, the battles aren't what you would call epic in any grand scheme of things. I mean, it's not like a John Gwynne battle sequence, but it's realistic, and it just fits with the overall story and with the characters. And again, character work, just could not do any better with it. I mean, this book, I loved every character in it. I loved every character. I loved every side character. You've got a 5-star book on your hands when the world is epic and you're able to see it and picture it in your mind and follow it. When you hear names, you go, oh, that's over here. That's at Palace or Demnonia or something along those lines. Like, you automatically know where those places are, because he does a very good job of explaining the way things are, explaining that situation, the realistic situation, what was going on at that time in real history of, the Saxon conquest of Britain, right after the Roman fall, and kind of what was left after that, how we kind of go into myth and reality. And I love how this world kind of goes into, is there magic in it, or is it just all a bunch of nonsense? It really doesn't tell. It could just be happenstance in a lot of ways. And I love how it leaves you going, I wonder what really is going on here. So overall, absolutely a masterpiece. I would recommend this trilogy to anybody. I just finished the second book of it, and I will be moving on to the third book, and cannot wait to finish this, even though it's going to make me sad, because I am going to miss Durfel. I'm going to really, really miss Durfel. Now, as far as the best overall book that I've read so far in 2026, it is Project Hail Mary. It is Project Hail Mary. In fact, I would go so far to say Project Hail Mary might be the best book I've ever read. Period. And I've read well over, probably close to 200 fantasy books at this stage. And this book really, fantasy and sci-fi. But this book is like nothing I've ever seen before. This was a book I was hesitant to read, because I was like, what are you supposed to do with the guy that's on a ship by himself? Like, what are you supposed to do? But I absolutely fell in love with the character of this. I loved Rocky. Oh my goodness, I loved Rocky. I loved how him and the main character just, oh my goodness, they were just so perfect together. And to even make it even better, the movie was just as good. And I mean, it just, every time I think of this story, it puts a smile to my face, because there is so many plot points that just hit. I mean, and it would just, I mean, it just fired on all cylinders. And you would think this really should have been a book that doesn't work. But this book really can take a school teacher lost in space, no way to get home, and a rock alien that looks like a spider, and somehow make it into the most heartbreaking, friendship-filled story that you will ever encounter. I mean, I don't even know what to say about this. Like, I believe his name's Andy Weir is the name of the author of this, and I just don't have anything bad to say about this book. Like, it was perfect. It was perfect. Started off perfect, and it ended perfect. There is a scene in here that is so sad and so heartbreaking that it literally, I mean, how strong friendship actually is on this one was so powerful to me that I broke down in tears. And that rarely happens in a book, but I actually did. I mean, I miss these characters. I really miss these characters. I wish this was a trilogy. I wish this was just an overall, I wish it was just a series in general, because I would eat it up. I would love it so much. It'd be my favorite of all time. I'd read it and reread it and reread it and reread it over and over again. I don't believe I could ever get enough of it. But overall, guys, if y'all haven't read this one, definitely pick it up. And if you haven't watched the movie, watch it. They do an amazing job on this. I mean, I won't say the movie was as good as the book, but it come really close. There were some really funny scenes in this movie that I really enjoyed, but definitely check out Project Hail Mary. Now on this one, this was one that I got from BookTube. I believe it was the Tudor Ramble guys that I was watching a video over them, and they did something over The Poet Empress by Shen Tao. And I went into this thinking, all right, this is going to probably be a romantasy. I better prepare myself for a romantasy. No. Don't prepare yourself for a romantasy on this one. Prepare yourself for a book that is terrifying, a book that is tragic and doesn't mind being tragic, and an anti-romantasy in so many different ways. Like, it was almost to the point where even I'm like, please, at this very end, like, all right, well, this is going to be a romantasy, or there's going to be a romantic moment. Nope. Just cast it away before you even read this book. It's not going to be that. So if that's what you think you're going into this one, you're not. You are really, it's an Asian-inspired epic, and this thing really, oh my goodness, it's just perfect. It is in a world that really, like, should not work. It is a world where that poems and little things are magical, and you have these poet empress or emperors, and it's just, there's a lot of betrayal. There's a lot of just sadistic behavior that goes on in this. And as the story progresses, you just see more and more and more. Like, there's some characters that you'll get to the point where you're like, oh, I like this guy. Oh, wait, no, I don't. Oh, wait, I hate this guy. I hate him with a burning passion. Well, I kind of feel bad for him. Like, there's a lot of different things that go on in this book, but Shen Tao did an amazing job with this book. If I had to rate anything, I would say this is just almost slightly behind Project Hail Mary for me, and how much I truly enjoyed this book. Like, that's just how I feel towards this one. It is just slightly behind it. But it is, I'm telling you guys, give it a shot. You're going to be pleasantly surprised like I was. This is a book I would say is it's stuck with me even months after I've read. I can still recite it from plot to plot to plot when it comes to it. Just amazing. It's just amazing overall. But anyways, let's get to the last one, and that is Jade City of the Green Bone Saga. Now, this is another one that I put off for a very, very long time. I didn't really know what to make out of it. It kind of sounded a little stupid to me. And, look, you got booktube darlings, and it just kind of feels like a lot of these booktube darlings kind of are underwhelming in a lot of different ways. And I thought this was going to be the same. When they kept saying, well, it's an Asian-inspired Godfather. And I'm like, what is that even supposed to really even be? That's, it's got magic involved in it. And I thought, well, this is going to be kind of silly. But the magic actually takes a back seat to the overall story of this. This has a very strong plot, but it has a very strong family dynamic to it that really, really hit hard for me. There's some deaths in this that kind of shocking and that you don't really see coming. There's a lot of characters that you get to know, and it seems like you fall in love with almost every single one of them. Like, there wasn't one character that I was like, oh man, I can't wait till I get past his character to get to another POV. No, I've actually enjoyed all of it. Like, every chapter meant something. There was no fluff. It was just great writing all the way around. Loved her prose. Loved her world that she had built in it. It's not a big world. It takes place in one city. And that's all it needed to do. Like, it really just needed to do that. And it did it perfectly. But the family dynamic in this is really what will stick with you. That will stick with you more than the magic system. You go in there and you think, well, it's going to be about, these magical rocks, basically. And no. It is just about family dynamic and how this family learns to be the next generation, how they learn to hold what they've got, how they learn to come together, how they learn to reignite their relationships with each other that maybe have been lost because of some kind of family squabble back in the day, or just age in general. A lot of these characters, they haven't seen each other since childhood, and then they come back, and it's almost like they're having to get to know, their brothers and sisters a little bit, at the same time, like it's starting all over again. And that's what's so beautiful about this book. Now, I've only read the first book of this, but I cannot wait to read the second book of it. This was not a 5-star read for me. This was a 4-star read. But the reason why I put it on this list is because it's one that stuck with me more than other 5-star reads have stuck with me. And I feel like it deserved to be here. I really did. I feel like it deserved to be here because I read it a few months ago, and I'm still like, you know what? I can't wait to get back into that world. That tells you really everything you need to know when it comes to a book. I mean, it gets you right back into the world. Where you can just pick off where you left off, but also you're excited to go to the next book. Where that you read it and you don't have a burnout from the world, you want to just go to the next book of that series. And that tells you everything you need to know about Jade City and the Green Bone Saga in general. But anyways, guys, check it out. And that is my top 5 books of mid 2026. Now, I'll probably be doing a larger scale version, like I said, from S tier all the way down of all the books that I've read so far. I think that would be a really fun thing to kind of like get all the books out there and kind of recollect and see if maybe my list has changed at any point. But overall, I just kind of feel like these books summed up my year or mid-year so far. But anyways, guys, let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. What is y'all's top 5? Let me know. As always, guys, thank y'all for watching. Y'all take care.